Welcome to the show. It is Wednesday night. We're in downtown San Antonio. I'm your host, as always, Mr. Maximo. You don't got to call me Mr. I'm just Maximo. And we're having some fun tonight. As always, it's a beautiful day in San Antonio. You know, the weather doesn't really know what it wants to do, kind of like my love life, but that's another subject. And we're having some fun. I'm here with my guest, the fabulous Maria Williams. How are you, Maria?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thank you. And thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You look great. I mean, what is this, a fuchsia color? What is this? This is amazing.
It's, you know what? When I found out that I was coming on, I wanted to be a little funky, little edgy.
I love it.
So I thought to wear this fuchsia color and all of this. I don't even know what you call it. Just all of this.
It's artistic, right? And that's why we brought you. That's why we brought you here. So thank you so much for being you. So let me ask you, Maria, because we were kind of chatting before we turned the cameras on. Tell us quickly, where are you from?
So I'm a military brat. So I'm from a little bit everywhere, but my family, my mother is Cuban and my father is from Panama.
I figured that.
So and all those Caribbean blends of flavor and all of that, that's all me. I'm all of that. Antigua, Jamaica.
You know,
Barbados.
I figured that because your name is Maria.
Maria Magdalena.
Really?
Yes.
So where did the Williams come from?
I got married.
Are you still? I don't even know. Since we're getting into relationships already, are you married still?
No, I am not.
Okay.
But I did keep my name because I had a child. So
Okay.
I always wanted that connection. I'm a single mother. And so having my son, Nathaniel Williams, I wanted to stay Maria Williams.
Right on. So I've known you for a few years in San Antonio. And we're going to talk a little bit about San Antonio. We're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to talk about your community initiatives, your gallery. We're going to talk about Juneteenth. We're going to try not to get too far off topic, which I have a tendency of doing.
Okay.
But I'm not going to do it tonight, folks. We're going to stay on topic. But I got to say, you know, hey, when I first met you, right, we talk about being on a rooftop. We talk about network. I saw you had a cigar.
Yes.
And I was like, man, this is a boss. I was like, I don't know who she is, but she is a boss. And I was right.
And I will say you were right.
So tell us, for those folks who are guests and our viewers that are familiar with VOD Pod Media here on the East Side, tell us a little bit about who Maria is. Tell us what makes you tick. Tell us, you know, what we need to know. Our viewers who don't know you need to know about you.
So what you need to know is I'm always looking to do good. I'm always looking to do the right thing. Now, I started out when I met you, I was the owner, and still am, the owner of Majestic Events by Maria. So we're a full service event company. So I've always been service oriented. You could say that. What makes me tick? Just doing the right thing. I'm a person who, if I see an issue, if I see a void, I try to figure out not how to complain about it, but how to fix it.
Yeah.
What can I do to make a change? And that's actually what happened when it came to developing the gallery. That's how I am in general. How do we make this change? How do we make things better? Let's stop leaving it up to someone else to make it better. Let's try doing it ourselves. And it always will start with you. So you have that person who's like, we need to do this and we need to do that. And then I look around and, so you're doing what?
Yeah.
and it's crickets, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want to be that person. I do what I feel is right. And I'm not, I don't want to be too arrogant because I'm not being
That's okay.
arrogant,
You can put it out there.
But I'm not ready to be a soldier. I'd rather be a leader.
Yeah.
And being that means you're ready to take the knocks. You take
Yeah.
the hard knocks. You take everything. When something goes wrong, it's easy to point the finger. When something goes right, not so much.
You know,
but you have to know within yourself that you're doing the right thing.
Absolutely. And I've been studying a little bit more. Every week I lead a leadership development seminar on Fridays at 11 a.m. And we host these at one of my job full time every Friday at 11 a.m. And we're always talking leadership. We're talking all the different aspects of leadership. And, you know, somebody's got to step up. Somebody's got to do something. I mean, right? I mean, you can't just let this world pass you by. I know a lot of people say, well, I guess that's the way it is. I mean, damn, well, I'm going to try to make some change.
And that's what everyone should be doing.
Yeah.
You know, you should always be trying to make a change. And it doesn't, you know, it may be minute to you, but that minute thing gets bigger and bigger, and it makes a little change. And if everyone did a little bit to make their little bit to make a change, that's a big wave right there.
Yeah, I had in my graduate program where I studied, someone told me one time that might have been in my undergrad that someone said, well, what if Dr. King would have said nothing could be done, or what if Cesar Chavez or Rosa Parks and all these influential people in our history would have said that's just the way it is, we can't do anything about it. Imagine how outcomes would be different today.
We'd be a stagnant society.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be moving forward, and we are moving forward. There's change. It may be slow change, but it's change.
But it's a good topic, because, I think I saw somewhere on one of your social media pages you were encouraging people to vote. Tell them how to get out and vote, right?
Yeah.
And many of our people aren't convinced that voting is the way to change. I like to think that voting isn't the only way, but it is one of the ways. And if we don't get in there and participate somehow, man, we ain't gonna have too good of chances.
And that's what the other side is betting on.
Yeah.
That we don't. So, I'd rather give my vote. The outcome may not be what I want it to be, but I know I did my part. So if you don't vote, you're giving a vote. Your lack of voting is giving them all the power because they're voting. So we got to vote. I'm big on that. And I wasn't always. I was that person.
Yeah, what's it going to change, right?
What's it going to change? It's not going to change a thing. And then I had my stint, downtown San Antonio, and I learned we really do have to vote. And then I also paid attention to the fact that we were not voting. So when I started the advocacy of saying we've got to vote, get out and vote, my partner, she didn't vote either. She was like, I don't vote. Now she proudly votes and she gets it, with or without the change, or with or without whatever we're voting for. If it doesn't happen, but we've again done our part.
Yeah,
attempted to make that change.
We got to get in there and get in the fight.
Exactly. Yeah, and you have to be willing. You have to be willing to fight. That's back to the whole leadership piece, is being willing to fight. And you're not going to have everyone on your side, but as long as you feel that you're doing the right thing, you move forward and you fight.
Yeah, and there's a lot of worthwhile causes for us to get out there and fight for. So I think if you're watching this and you're feeling inspired to do something, maybe you need a reminder to go out there and make some change, whether it's to donate to this organization, whether it's to get out there and participate in the Chavez March this weekend in San Antonio, whether it's, to, raise some more awareness on an issue via your social media page. I mean, these are all things you can do right now.
Absolutely.
And it's worth it because, man, we got some work to do. We got some problems out there.
We do. And we have to work.
So give me your thoughts on San Antonio. You mentioned you're from different parts. You've been around, you traveled, military. You've been in San Antonio for how long?
40 years.
So what do you think about San Antonio? Give me the real. We have the real conversations here at the table, and that's why people love us. We got to know.
Well, so I had to learn to love San Antonio. I had to grow up and change my view. Now, San Antonio is a great place. I wouldn't have wanted to raise my son anywhere else. But we still have issues that no one wants to talk about. We still have racism. We still have inequality in San Antonio. The lack of equity is a big deal. You can't be the 7th largest city and then have the largest income disparity.
Yeah.
You got to stop and think about that. So who is dealing with the disparity? So San Antonio, though, is growing. I'm taking a look at the people who are moving into the city, and a lot of folks from San Antonio don't want to hear that. They don't. But it's the people really moving into this city and bringing new views, new ideas, more progressive thinking, that are really the ones making the change. I get tired of, but this is the way we've always done it, or this is the way we are. Well, where has that gotten you?
Yeah.
What has it done for you? But I'm still happy to be here because I believe that even with what I'm doing, I'm making a change in San Antonio, the city in which I live in, doing big things to try and help Black artists.
Yeah.
Right? No one wants to talk about the inequity. There are even Black artists who are scared to talk about the inequity because they're like, oh my God, if I let them know that I really know it, that it's really going on, they may not pick me for the next,
Yeah.
you know, the next
grant, the next honoree, the next feature.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm not that person. I am like, no, you can't just choose one and then say, well, look, we got one. No, it has to be something we're building to become sustainable. And we're the ones that have to do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So there are a lot of problems, not only in San Antonio, but nationwide, globally. Yes. I mean, let's not act like there are not countries being invaded, right? There are all of these problems happening. We're talking boots on the ground issues in San Antonio right now.
Yes.
Because this is where we're at, right? We're change makers. We're out here voicing our concerns. We're out here taking it to the actual issues. Yeah. And I've always been one to talk about the issues as well. One of the issues that we have inside of the brown community, which you talked on, is racism, colorism. It is, you know, for a lack of better terms, ignorance.
Yeah.
There's a lot of problems. Now, on this show, we talk about real issues. We talk about white supremacy. Yes, I said white supremacy because in some places, if you say white supremacy, people start getting they getting a little offended. They get afraid. Yeah. You can't say white supremacy. Listen, Black and brown people, specifically brown people, we don't dislike white people. We love white people. In fact, a lot of brown people love white people so much they wish they were white. And so a lot of our brown folks, which San Antonio has a lot of, emulate aspects of white supremacy, which is anti-Blackness.
Yes.
And I mean, let's just be honest, folks. I mean, this is real.
It is very real. You know, again, speaking with one of my artists and telling me who she shared with an incident, she's doing a piece that's going to be floating down the King William Parade, and it's going to cause controversy.
Ooh,
and
like
we talked about it, and she said, you know, when I was painting, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I had to do something, and you know, I waited for the ancestors to tell me, and they told her because she had an incident where she was there to watch the parade in a complex that she lived in that was right downtown, and she was next to a Hispanic family who, now she was there, if you want to say legally, because she lived in the complex. They just set up chairs and were there, and they were not happy. They told her, you're invading our space, and by the way, this isn't your parade anyway. This isn't y'all's parade.
Wow.
And when she told me, it did strike me. But if I'm going to be honest, again, 40 years in this city of San
it couldn't have
Antonio,
surprised you.
It should not have surprised me. Because I've dealt with it. I've actually had some incidents myself that it's heartbreaking because you're not that far away. We're closer and closer than you think. You know, if you really know your history, you will know that your country welcomed us during slavery, right? We said no to slavery in Mexico. We also had a Black president, el presidente, in Mexico. You got to recognize that. He was a leader of your country.
Yeah.
So we're closer than you thought. There are places on the border that celebrate Juneteenth for years in a larger manner than we ever did before, now knowing that it's a federal holiday.
Yeah.
That was because it was part of who they were. And I wish that in San Antonio we had more of a unification between Black and brown people. But we don't.
Yeah.
We really don't. I'm glad to say, and I hope that she doesn't get just mad at me about this, but I had Anel Flores come into my gallery.
Yeah.
And we're talking about collaborating.
Good.
I'm very happy about that. I've had a lot of Hispanic artists come to me and say, well, is this just a Black gallery? I champion the Black artist. It's necessary.
Yeah.
It's needed. But if you feel that you want to come to our gallery and have, and when I say our, I mean just mine, so,
sure.
And have an exhibit, you're more than welcome to. I cannot talk inclusion and then perform solution.
Yeah.
That's not who I am. So it's welcome to the gallery. And it's to show unification. So that's a big deal with me. So you touched on a great subject, because I think we all need to step back and look at that and recognize it. But know that we too have our Black communities and community members that they deal with colorism as well. You know, some lighter skinned Black people in San Antonio are who Hispanics and white people are comfortable with. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you're saying.
They're comfortable with them. I could say the same thing some of them say. And I'm Black. Because, yes, I told you my mother's Cuban and my father's Panamanian, but I'm a Black woman in the United States of America. Yeah. So those are the issues that I deal with.
It's intricate. And that's why we have, first of all, again, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come join us at VOD Pod Media. If you're watching this, like, comment, share. We'll get to all your questions, all of your comments. We want to know what you're thinking. We want to get your thoughts on colorism. We want to know the battles that you faced. We want to know what it means to be Black for you. What does it mean to be brown in our communities? It's an intricate conversation. It's not one that we can have in sound bites, right? We need to have a discussion. We need to continue to talk about it. We have to have roundtables. We need to get involved in Dream Week and all these other events and talk about, the Black and brown experience. It's a troublesome one in some respects, but the other aspect that you touched on that I think is important as well, because I would affectionately say I grew up in the Black community. I don't know that I really did, but I grew up on the south side of Lansing, Michigan. I came up playing sports. I came up living, Lansing Everett Public High School on the south side on Martin Luther King, Boulevard. Mm-hmm. And what I always found, and it's in between the lines, it's underneath the carpet, is that they don't want to see us unified.
Absolutely not.
Right? They don't want to hear us talking about, now the term Black and brown, as an expression of a community, I would say really gained some steam maybe about 10 years ago. And think about that. Before that, they wanted to keep us separate.
And they still
do
separate. And we have to understand that. That's where I get back to saying we need to take over our narrative. Because if we let them take it over, that is exactly what will happen. There will be that fission, and they just get it deeper, wider, for divisiveness. And again, we have more in common. You can really look at the history of the city of San Antonio and see what they've done to both races and how they've pitted both races against one another. That's a reality that they don't want to accept. We have a piece in the gallery by an artist, and it's about the Willie Lynch letters, and people and it's around the corner of a piece of the gallery, right? So you come around the corner, you see this piece, and we have encased the speech and the letters from Willie Lynch. And when I talk to people about it, I kind of step back and let them absorb it, no matter who they are. And then I ask them a question if they've ever heard of Willie Lynch.
They probably no.
Most don't know. And that just ranges in age, which is amazing to me as well. But they tell me no, and then we talk about it because we have some of the verbiage emboldened on, so people can really see the points that are being made. And what they kind of are amazed at is there's a piece of the letter that says, and if you use this method, we will keep them enslaved for 300 years. And I step back.
Yeah.
We're not that far.
That's deep, though.
Right?
That's some deep stuff.
But it's real. So and that brings me to my point, and I say to them, so you don't know about this, your children don't know about this. There was a method to making slaves in the United States of America. They brought this man over to the colonies for this purpose. And you don't want to talk critical, critical race theory? I say critical race truth. It is not a theory.
It's absolutely
We
right.
already know
You
it
know,
can happen.
that's
It's not
the
a
other thing
theory.
too. So it's like we committed all these atrocities throughout this country's history, right?
Yes.
We completely negated the native experience, the people that were here hundreds and thousands of years prior to that.
That's right.
But let's teach you about George Washington. Let's teach you about Christopher Columbus. Let's teach you about Thomas Jefferson. Let's teach you about all these brilliant Americans.
The unicorns and the sunflowers and the,
They want
and
to
the
teach you
rainbows.
that they want to teach you all that. They want to conveniently leave aside all
Yeah.
of the negative stuff, and they want to continue to do stuff. So you talked about current, we're not so far off. I mean, we still live in a society that deems human beings illegal,
Yes.
right? And so,
Right.
I mean, I think 100 years from now, we'll have that discussion as well, saying, man, we considered people illegal when they were to come to this country to better their circumstances,
Like
and-
all the other ships from Europe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We've got a long ways to go. We've made progress. There's tons of conversations that need to be had. And I think acting and being that change maker is an avenue to creating that society that we want. You are doing that with the gallery. You are doing that with the space. You've alluded to that a few times during this conversation. Tell us what the gallery is. Tell us about this initiative and the space.
Okay. So the gallery was developed out of an initiative, and the initiative was or is the Art of Four Art Initiative. So we advocate on behalf of local Black artists. So, and I say local Black artists, and I have to stop myself because we have actually artists from the surrounding areas and artists reaching out to us from the areas. So we advocate on behalf of Black artists. I went around, I spoke to galleries, I spoke to museums, trying out, where's the Black art? Where's the space for the Black artist? On Black History Month, not during what y'all want to call Dream Week, but where is the Black artist? So after realizing that a lot of times I got pat head or the hand and sent on my way, and they could check their box, nothing was really being done. And so what I did is I took a chance and made a change, made a difference, and I opened the gallery. So out of the Art of Four Art Initiative, I developed In the Eye of the Beholder Art Gallery and Studio. And I was very determined for the name of the gallery to represent, and In the Eye of the Beholder, because I find that the Blackness has been passed over so long that I wanted folks to know that the talent is there.
Yeah.
And eyes, because that's what I would tell them. I said, if the right people in the right eyes saw your work, there's no one would be able to say that you're not talented, that this is a talented artist, so that is what I have. And I'm very happy. We opened September of 2021. The Art Initiative actually started in October of 2019, and we had 4 artists, hence the Art of Four. We now have 26. We'll probably have 30 at the end of the month. And just advocate and give space on behalf of Black artists. Everyone is welcomed. I tell anyone, yes, I want the gallery to be a place where people have pride in the Black community, right? But this space is for everyone in our community. It allows you to see the talent of Black artists. It allows you to see that they can do any kind of art. It's not always going to be subject matter or Black subject matter. Right now we have a gentleman by the name of Roger Price. His exhibit is up, and it's a jazz in the springtime. And he does the most beautiful florals you could ever imagine in the gallery. So that is, that's another thing that we like to do in the gallery, is show the diversity within the Black.
Yeah.
It's not just street art, which I've seen some great street art, but we have some beautiful fine art artists in our gallery. We plan to be around for a while. And what we hear is they're happy to have a space. They don't have to explain their expression. It is what it is, and it's beautiful. So that makes me feel good. A lot of times when I have community come into the gallery, what they tell me is, it's so warm, it's so welcoming, and what we love the most is we get to also see Black joy.
Yeah.
We get to see the beauty of Blackness.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's important too, because Guylan always tells me, here at VodPod and just beyond, whenever we're, talking about our experiences, the community, art, film, entertainment, anything, that why is it every time you talk about Black and brown experience, it has to be revolving around someone's trauma? You know, it's like we don't have joy. We don't have regular human emotion, right? It has to be this negative experience.
Yes, and I think that's because that's really what's accepted.
Yeah.
You know, oh, we want to see your gangs and you're fighting each other, you're killing one another. You know what? I love my mom. I love my dad. I have children. We celebrate. We cry. But they're no more different than anyone else.
Yeah.
So I totally agree.
Yeah, it's important. I mean, for all this, let's go back to the gallery. So, is there where can we find the online? Is there online presence? Do we have to come to your doorstep?
So we are building online presence in the gallery to include a gallery that you can actually walk through virtually. But we are located right off of North New Braunfels. So it's 1917 North Braunfels, Suite 1, San Diego 78208. If you're familiar with North New Braunfels, we're between East Carson and the gate of Fort Sam. So that's located. And we want everybody. Our hours are 10 to 5, Tuesday through Friday, 12 on Saturday. We do rent this as long as people understand. We've had a lot of people who have come because this is the most unique space to have a day party or, you know, a seminar even. But no art gets taken down, no art gets covered up because it can only enhance your event that you would have at the gallery. We have a great courtyard that comes with the event space. So
great.
Yeah.
So we got to give a couple shout outs to our live viewers. We have a lot of viewers watching our show right now.
Oh,
Kirsten
wonderful.
Tom, what's up, girl? I hope you're doing well. I can't wait to see you back in VodPod here at the studio. We've got AC Turners chiming in and saying unity is the way. Is the way, because they want to keep us divided, they want us segregated and separated, but we together know that there's strength in numbers.
Absolutely.
I'm a guy, I'll tell you what, you know, you see people throwing up the fist in these communities. Listen, I'll tell you what, man, I'll say it here, like, I'll do something with that fist.
Yeah,
I ain't just
right.
throwing up the fist. I'll do something with the fist. So go ahead and try us over here. You know what I mean?
So, yeah.
But let's going to come down to the studio as well to check y'all at gallery, because we got to continue to support each other. We wanted to have you in studio, talk about it, these initiatives, we're involved in the community, and you know, we want to normalize these discussions of people doing good business and good work, and honoring people in their presence. So thank you for your you know, your efforts here. We want to talk about some upcoming days. Now listen, I want to tell you that to get one over on Miss Maximo, you got to wake up pretty early in the morning. And so next week is April 1st, April Fool Day, and you won't be fooling me. Coming up after that, you'll have Cinco de Mayo, which is on the 5th of May, which, folks, we got to say it's not the Mexican Independence Day. You'd be a fool to believe that if you do celebrate that way. But, you know, hey, listen, if you want to celebrate Cinco, that's business. But then after that, you've got Juneteenth coming up.
Yay.
So let's talk about Juneteenth, because I know you want to share some item news on that.
Yes. So last year, the Art of Four did a Juneteenth event. We called it the Art of Four Presents Juneteenth at Legacy Park. It was such a hit with the city, with Weston Property. They had asked us back. So we have, again, this year, bigger. District 1 and District 2 are joining us in the celebration. So what Juneteenth is to celebrate what June is, right? So we celebrate, and I want to share with the city of San Antonio why the Black community celebrates Juneteenth. You know, it's a Texas federal holiday. It should have been that forever. I mean, it's all over the United States, but it's about Texas. It was when Granger landed and finally told the Black enslaved people of Texas, you've been free. Not only are you free, you've been free for 2 years. So that's what the celebration is, because it was important to me. We have all of these Juneteenth things going on, but have you explained to the community really what Juneteenth is? Not the Black community. That's like preaching to the choir. You know, they got pushback from people because it was at Legacy Park and it's downtown. That's where it needed to be. My dear friend Allison said, Maria, I've heard of Juneteenth, but I don't really know what Juneteenth is. I get, and that's why we come downtown to show the multitudes and the diverse people of San Antonio. This is why the Black community celebrates Juneteenth. And so it's all about Black excellence, which is what I always do. So with the gallery, with Art of Four, you know, that shows Black excellence in the arts. And so I do the same thing downtown San Antonio at Legacy Park. This year it's going to be a 3-day event.
Wow. So
we're going to have a reception, a luncheon with a panel discussion, and then the big celebration, which is at Legacy Park. And don't forget it's Thursday this year. Like I think it falls on Father's Day, so we'll probably have some things for our dads to come out. But what I'm hoping is that we grow this to an event that is all of San Antonio. You know, District 1, we thank you because we have Legacy Park. District 2, historically the Black San Antonio. Eventually, Maria's going after all 10 districts.
There you go.
Because the city of San Antonio should have a large celebration for Juneteenth.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be just this district, right? It doesn't have to be just this. And then, oh, if District 2 is given, District 10 don't have to give. Well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What do you mean, man?
Well, you know, just like all over the world, we're everywhere.
Exactly. But
we're everywhere in San Antonio. We're on all sides of the city, all 10 districts.
Absolutely. And, you know, the more I get involved in the community, and I mean, we talking about the community. We talking about going door to door. We talking about being afraid to walk in people's yards because you don't know what type of dogs they got coming through there.
Right.
We talking about, you know, just doing real community grassroots work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Some of our people don't know what district they live in. Let's just be honest. I mean, that ain't a slam or a knock on nobody. They just don't know. They're not involved.
And they need to get involved.
They do need to get involved.
You need to know who your council person is. You need to find out what they're working for. Are their views the same views yours? Are their concerns your concerns? Because you weigh them. So you need to know what they're fighting for and what they're fighting against.
And that's important, folks, because there is a runoff election coming up. There are other elections coming up in November that we're in Texas, right? And our people have been talking about making change. Well, look, opportunities. We can talk all day about how broken the system is. We can gerrymander. We can talk about redlining. We can talk about voter suppression, which is real.
Yes.
It's very not negating that, but we still got to get in there and do something about it. Kids be sitting on the sideline talking about it.
Yeah.
And I like to talk. I like to talk. We can do both.
Kidding.
Yeah, we can do both. We can talk about it and we can get involved.
And get involved.
Absolutely.
Get involved. You know, everyone in San Antonio needs to realize this is your city. I don't care your ethnicity. I don't care your race. This is your city. And you have to get involved and see what your city is doing and why they're doing what they're doing and what they're not doing that they should be doing. And you get involved and you make those changes and you hold your city council person. You hold their feet to the fire.
So one of the other items about this, and I get these questions a lot from friends of all different nature, all different kinds. You know, if it comes to Juneteenth, Cinco de Mayo, Hispanic Heritage Month, whatever it may be, like you can ask me. You can come up and ask me, hey, what are your thoughts on this? Because there are some complicated, you know, ways, ideologies. I'm thinking. I had a lot of people asking, you'll get this. I had a lot of people asking me, hey, man, you know, Fidel Castro passed away, right? About the Cuban experience. You know, why do some people love him and some people hate him? I'm like, man, we're gonna have to have a long talk to get into that one.
Yeah.
But it's complicated.
It's very complicated.
And these are good. I mean, there are, you know, if we don't reach out with that olive branch to our people in our network and have some conversations, these people ain't never going to try to learn more, right? We have ignorance, not ignorance in the negative sense and the connotation that it has, but honestly, people just not knowing.
Not knowing. Yeah. You need to do your research. Again, I think it's important that you do your research. Don't wait to be told because you're never going to hear the story. And even go deeper. If you have questions, ask that question. Have another question? Ask that question. Find the answers. You know, look for it for yourself. A lot of times people think that they may look at me like a rebel rouser, if you will. But I say if my wanting to know the truth and my wanting to know my truth and represent my truth and speak on my truth is what you call a rebel rouser, well, yeah, then I am a rebel rouser.
You know, and that's the thing, too. It all depends on who you ask and perspective.
Right.
So a few weeks ago, my grandmother passed away. She lived a good, healthy, long life, and she passed away, right? And she loved to talk as well. Okay. And people say, well, hey, that's where you got your gift to come from. You got your silver tongue from your grandma's to been. And some people would say too much, right? Here's the thing. My grandmother lived to be 80 years old. She grew up in a time where if you was a black and brown woman in the United States, you weren't supposed to be talking. Right? So it depends on whose perspective. Does she talk too much or is she stepping out and doing enough to be seen and to be heard and to be respected in this country?
And I am going on the ladder.
You know?
For your grandmother.
Right?
Yeah. And
so that's those little things and those perspectives make up a difference when you're bringing together the context of the full story. People need to be told the full story about all these different things, whether it's Juneteenth, whether it's this person, you know, politics, you name it.
Yeah, most definitely. Again, you know, we are a people that need to figure it out on our own. I hear a lot about we got to have our allies. And yeah, we got to have our allies. But while you want to have a conversation with the allies, I want to have a conversation with you. Because you and I, we first have to get it together and then approach these folks here.
Yeah.
And no one seems to get that. There's a lot of, I look at leadership here in San Antonio. We've got some great leadership, but at the same time, we have appointed leadership. So we have, I'm amazed sometimes when names are said, leaders in the Black community. I see that person, I go, I don't even see them.
Yeah, nobody know you.
Yeah, I don't even see you in the Black community. I may see you once a week.
Can you bring the mic a little closer to your mouth?
I may see that, once a week out of the year.
You can move it with you.
I need to know that you're in the Black community always.
That's right.
People are amazed. They find out that I'm not born and raised here in San Antonio because I've always worked on the east side or done something on the east side or involved on the east side. Well, historically, that's where I wanted to see people who look like me. So if you're not in the community, but then you want to step and say you're a pillar of the community, no, you've been appointed.
Yeah.
You've been appointed to keep the natives from getting restless.
Yeah.
And I think people need to recognize that. And I don't see that in San Antonio. I will tell you that. Know that in our district, in this district, I don't see a lot of that. And we're getting folks being set up for reasons, to be quite honest, I feel to take us down or keep us down or keep us quiet. I've always told people I don't accept crumbs. I want a loaf and a half.
Yeah.
And if I don't have a half, I just want the loaf. I'm not greedy.
Yeah.
But I don't fall for crumbs. It's definitely something I don't do, and that's something I tell my people all the time. And when I say my people, anyone who's listening, anyone who's a friend of mine, and they want to strike out to do something different or they want to help their community, do it. You don't have to listen to everybody else as long as you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's true too, because listen, again, I'm gonna call white folks. I love white. Come on, you want a hug? We'll give you a hug.
Yeah,
you want a loaf of my bread? You want a slice of my bread or my loaf? I can give you a slice. Now, I'll be honest. We got sometimes more white folks in our corner than we do black brown people, if we're going to be honest.
No, and that is being honest. Trust me. Yeah. And you deal with it. I deal with it. And it kind of hurts, right? Because you want your community to wrap their arms around you and lift you up. And sometimes instead you having other folks do that. And then your community is almost like, thanks she all that. It's not about all that. It's about all of us.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, it gets interesting out there.
Yeah.
It does.
I'm about it too. It ain't about me, it's about we.
It is. Most things, if you're doing it, it's going to be bigger than yourself. The purpose is going to be what it's about.
Yeah.
If it's not about the purpose, it's just about you getting the glory, well, then you're not really doing it for the right reasons.
Right.
We all have to. I had a young man in my office who wants to get involved with the gallery, and he talked about I have to have purpose. I have to have purpose behind what I wanted to do, and it had to do with volunteering at the gallery. And we're not paying anybody quite yet, And he said, no, it's beyond that. I see what is being cultivated. I see what you're doing. I see what you're trying to do, and I want to be a part of that. So it has to be a purpose, and that purpose should always be bigger than you. Because when I'm gone, I told my grandbaby, when they put dirt in Grandma's face, this is your legacy. You don't be an artist, but I want you to champion the artist.
Yeah.
I want you to champion the Black artist. And I want you to try and make sure that there's a space for Black artists. So make sure that there's a gallery or a museum or something. That is what I want for you and for our community. So I don't want it to be today. I want it to be a legacy. And that's what I choose to do with, the initiative and the gallery.
Ain't about vanity, it's about humanity.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes,
and so
absolutely right.
Shout out to that. And so speaking of, bringing people up instead of tearing them down, you got shout outs you want to give to the live audience? Any of your people do you want to give a recognition to?
So I have two gentlemen that I definitely want to give recognition to because they too have stepped up because they've seen what I'm trying to do, and they came in the gallery and saw that it was just me. and I'm everything, right? I'm the janitor, I'm CEO, I'm all of whatever the gallery and the initiative needs. And so Gerald Embry, along with Hoy Ellis, have come in, and they've made my world a little small place.
Yeah.
By helping me accomplish some goals that that I'm trying to do for the gallery and the initiative. And of course, I definitely want to send lots of love to Suzette Elliott, who, let me tell you, when I decided to open the gallery and use a grant that I received from Lowe's Hardware, don't even ask me how that happened. And I, going through hard times of the pandemic, and as a hospitality business owner, not being able to do what we do because there was no gatherings, I said to her, this is what I want to do. Not for permission, because everyone who knows me knows I don't ask permission, but more of, I'm this money, and I'm going to open a gallery. And with a smile on her face, she said, do it. It's necessary. It's needed. We'll be okay. And so thank you, Suzette Elliott.
Nice.
Because we are okay.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Sometimes these initiatives, you get the backing from one people, or you get the permission, or you get the boost that need the alley-oop, and then boom, you're off to the races.
Yeah.
So congratulations for taking it and seeing it through, because you have to do it, right? You could be doing other stuff with your time, with your efforts and your energy.
There are days, and those two gentlemen that I mentioned helped me realize, no, this is what I'm doing. But I was like, I could have taken my money. I got a beach somewhere. But yeah, you're right. It's what I'm supposed to be doing. I have found that this is really my purpose. I eat, sleep, and drink art, Black art, artists. Everything I do is for the gallery and for the art initiative to move forward.
Nice. So with that being said, give us some closing thoughts to the viewers, aspiring change artists, change agents, people that be thinking about, hey, why should I get involved? Why should I do it? If you're thinking this ain't ever going to change, things ain't going to change, I guess I'll just go about my way and do other things. I mean, why get involved? What do you tell those people?
I tell those people about my wins for the artist and the art initiative. One being selling 9 pieces of art to a major university here in San Antonio, which is a bill because the sale is great, but the opportunity these artists may not have had to put on their CD or on their bio that their piece is now in a collection owned by a prestigious university. That's a win for me, having local hospitals coming to the gallery to purchase art, so you and I see faces that look like us. Hospitals, which when you think about it, that does happen. Building a space that there's no question that you can come to and be comfortable and express your expression of Blackness. I love that. I love being a part of that because I'm just a part of it.
Yeah. But you good people though, Maria. I got to say, you got this good vibe. Where'd you get that vibe from?
Thank you. My mom. I asked her 21 years ago, but she is with every day.
That's
and,
important.
Like I said, she was from Cuba. She's probably the most American person I knew. The flag was flown when it was supposed to. Let a raindrop come down. We're out there getting the flag. My mother was a good person with good heart who also, if she saw something that needed to be changed, if she saw someone who needed hand up, she was there. I mean, that's what I got to witness growing up as her daughter, as the beauty of my mother. And I hope to pass that on to my granddaughters and my son. I have one child who's given me 2 wonderful granddaughters, and those are things that I want to instill in them to go on in this world way after I'm gone.
Yeah, 'cause they're watching, right?
They are watching, I'm certain.
Well, in general, they're watching you move. They're watching you move.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. That's funny that you say that. I definitely, especially the 11-year-old and the 8-year-old. The 8-year-old came to visit. So I have Yasmin, who's 8, and Hazel Ray, 11. And Yasmin, her dad, my son, Nathan, brought some folks into the gallery. And she was holding the door. And she's like, come on in. This is my grandma Gally. This is my grandma Gally. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. So, it makes me happy.
Awesome.
They're watching me. And I took the 11-year-old with me the other day when we had to set up for an event that we were part of their auction. So, not easy, but we do what we do for the good of all.
Yeah.
So that's what I want them to say. You see, they can do good for the good of all.
So final note though, where can people send the check to? If you watch it and you want to get behind
Once again,
Black artistry, supporting Black artists at a community endeavor. I mean, can people donate? I mean, what are you doing here?
people can donate because the gallery is a for-profit gallery. So we don't get city monies, nor do we get county money. So it's really all from each sale, and sometimes those sales are slow and far in between. So they can send them to the gallery. They can come in and donate, but at, again, 1917 North Braunfels Suite 100, San Antonio, Texas, 78208.
Great. Find Maria as well online. Support, donate. If you saw anything you liked here, share this with any artist. We need your support as well because we can't do this work alone.
Right.
None of us operate in silos. We need each other, period. I think that's one of the things that the pandemic proved to a lot of people. We couldn't just stay at home, locked up in isolation, quarantine,
Right.
away from each other. It hurt us in different ways. We need each other. We need you.
Yes.
We want to do things together, folks. This is community work, community initiatives, and, we out here doing it for the love of people.
Yes.
So with that being said, Maria, hey, I got to say, was good looking out coming through. Man. It's always a pleasure to sit up with you. This is not going to be the only time that we'll see you, of course. You're always welcome down here at the studio. We want to get your space as well. Share, break bread, love. And folks, I hope you're doing fabulous tonight wherever you are. If you're going through something, I'm going to tell you, keep going. And it's Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thursday. Thank goodness. Hopefully we get another day, another opportunity to do it. Thank you so much. And we're coming off the air. But again, like, comment, share, subscribe here at VOD Pod Media. We love you as always. Maria, you're a beautiful girl. I love you too.
Thank you. Love you.